Jake Morrison wiped the sweat from his forehead as he crawled through the narrow maintenance tunnel. The air recycling system on New Horizons Station needed fixing again. It was the third time this month. Jake did not mind the work. He liked fixing things. It made him feel useful. The tunnel was hot and cramped. Jake's tool belt clanked against the metal walls as he moved. He could hear the hum of the station's life support systems all around him. Everything sounded normal. The steady beeping of monitors, the soft whoosh of air moving through vents, the distant chatter of crew members in the corridors. Jake reached the damaged air filter and started his work. His hands moved quickly and surely. He had been an engineer for 10 years. He knew these systems like old friends. Replace the filter. Check the connections. Test the flow rate. Simple work, but important. Without clean air, everyone on the station would die. A sharp sound cut through the normal station noise. Jake stopped working and listened. There it was again. A high-pitched beeping that did not belong. It was coming from the emergency communication system. Jake dropped his tools and crawled back through the tunnel as fast as he could. Emergency signals meant trouble. Big trouble. He climbed out of the maintenance hatch and ran to the nearest control panel. The screen was flashing red. Emergency beacon detected. Unknown origin. Sector 7 Alpha. Jake hit the alert button. Speakers throughout the station crackled to life. All senior staff to the command center. Emergency signal received. This is not a drill. Jake ran through the corridors. Other crew members were doing the same. Their faces looked worried. Emergency signals in deep space usually meant someone was dying. And they were very far from Earth. Too far for quick rescue ships to reach them. The command center was already busy when Jake arrived. Captain Lisa Ward stood at the main display screen. She was a small woman with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She had been commanding deep space missions for 20 years. Nothing surprised her anymore. "What do we have?" Captain Ward asked her communications officer. "Signal started 15 minutes ago," the officer replied. "Pattern is completely unknown, not human, not from any of our allied species. It's coming from an empty sector. No registered ships, no known colonies." Jake moved closer to look at the display. The signal pattern looked strange. It pulsed in a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. But the frequency was all wrong. Too high for human equipment. Too complex for a simple distress call. "Distance?" the captain asked. 4 hours by shuttle at maximum speed. Captain Ward was quiet for a moment. She looked at the signal pattern. Then she looked at her crew. Jake could see her thinking. 4 hours was a long trip. If this was a trap, they would be far from help. But if someone was really in trouble, 4 hours might be too long to wait. "We go," she decided. "If someone is out there dying, we have a duty to help. That's what humans do." She turned to face the room. "I need volunteers for a rescue mission. Small crew only. The shuttle can't carry many people." Jake stepped forward immediately. "I volunteer, Captain. If their ship is damaged, they'll need an engineer." "Good. Anyone else?" Sam Collins raised his hand. He was the best pilot on the station, young and confident with steady hands and quick reflexes. "I'll fly the shuttle, Captain." Dr. Amy Rodriguez volunteered next. She was the chief medical officer. A calm woman with gentle hands and a sharp mind. If there were injured people, they would need her skills. The last volunteer was Dr. Pete Harrison. He studied alien life forms. He was older than the others, with wild gray hair and thick glasses. If they found something new out there, Pete would know what to do. "Excellent," Captain Ward said. "Get the shuttle ready. Full emergency supplies, life support equipment, medical gear. We leave in 30 minutes." Jake ran to his quarters to pack. His tools. His hands shook slightly as he gathered his equipment. He had been on rescue missions before, but never to investigate an unknown signal. What would they find out there? A damaged human ship? Something from one of their alien allies? Or something completely new? 25 minutes later, Jake stood in the shuttle bay. The Endeavor was their fastest rescue shuttle. It was small but well-equipped. Life support for a week. Medical bay. Repair equipment. Everything they might need for a rescue mission. Sam was already in the pilot's seat, running through his pre-flight checks. Amy was loading medical supplies. Pete was setting up his scanning equipment. Everyone worked quickly and quietly. They all knew that time was important. "Ready?" Captain Ward asked. "Ready," Sam replied. The shuttle bay doors opened. Stars filled the view, cold, distant, and beautiful. But somewhere out there, in the darkness, someone was sending a signal for help. The Endeavour launched into space. Its engines burned bright blue against the black. Sam pushed the engines to maximum speed. They had a long trip ahead of them, and they had no idea what they would find at the end of it. Jake watched the stars stream past the windows. He thought about the strange signal pattern, about the unknown sector where it was coming from, about what kind of beings might need their help. He checked his tools one more time. Whatever they found out there, he would be ready to help fix it. That was what he did. That was what humans did. They fixed things. They helped others. Even when those others might be completely alien to them. The signal grew stronger as they flew toward it. 4 hours later, Sam brought the Endeavour out of high-speed flight. The stars stopped streaking past the windows. Ahead of them, floating in the darkness, was something incredible. "Look at that," Pete whispered. The ship was beautiful. It looked like it was made of crystal and metal mixed together. Its hull curved in smooth lines that seemed to flow like water. Strange patterns covered its surface. The patterns moved and shifted as they watched, like living things made of light. "No response to our signals," Sam reported, "but I'm reading life signs. Very faint. Whatever's on that ship is barely alive." Jake felt his heart speed up. Someone was dying on that beautiful ship. They had to help. Captain Ward's voice came through the radio from the station. "Proceed with caution. We don't know what we're dealing with." Sam flew the Endeavour closer. The alien ship was bigger than it had looked from far away. It was at least twice the size of their shuttle, but something was wrong with it. Jake could see dark spots on the hull, damage marks, and there were tiny sparkles around the ship where atmosphere was leaking into space. "Their life support is failing," Amy said. She was watching her medical scanners. "Whatever's inside that ship is running out of air." "Can we dock with it?" Jake asked. Sam studied the alien ship's design. "I think so. They have what looks like an airlock. Different design than ours, but the basic idea seems the same." "Do it," Captain Ward ordered over the radio. "Time is running out." Sam carefully brought the Endeavour alongside the alien ship. The docking was tricky. The alien airlock was a different size and shape than theirs, but Sam was a good pilot. After several tries, they heard the clank of metal connecting to metal. "Sealed," Sam announced. "But I don't know if their airlock will work with ours." Jake was already putting on his spacesuit. Only one way to find out. Amy and Pete put on their suits too. If the alien airlock failed, they would need protection from the vacuum of space. Jake grabbed his emergency repair kit. If their equipment was compatible, he might be able to help fix whatever was wrong. The team moved to the Endeavour's airlock. Jake's hands were steady as he worked the controls. The outer door opened. Beyond it was the alien ship's airlock. It was bigger than theirs, with walls that seemed to glow with soft blue light. "Atmosphere on the other side," Amy reported, checking her scanner. "But it's not quite right for humans. Keep your suits on." Jake stepped through first. The alien airlock responded to his presence. Lights brightened. There was a soft humming sound. Then the inner door opened with a whisper. The inside of the alien ship took Jake's breath away. The walls curved gracefully overhead. Everything seemed to be made of the same crystal metal material as the hull, but the beautiful ship was clearly in trouble. Warning lights flashed everywhere. There were scorch marks on the walls, and the air felt wrong even through his suit's filters. "This way," Amy said, following her life sign scanner. "The survivor is deeper in the ship." They moved through corridors that felt more like tunnels in a living thing than passages in a machine. The walls pulsed gently with light, but the light was fading. The ship was dying. They found her in what looked like the command center. She was tall, much taller than any human. Her skin was pale blue-gray and seemed to glow slightly. Her eyes were large and dark, like deep pools of water. She wore a suit that seemed to be part clothing and part machine. Tubes and wires connected it to her body. But the suit was clearly failing. Jake could see cracks in its surface. Sparks came from damaged connections. The alien woman was unconscious. She lay on the floor near what might have been a control panel. Her breathing was shallow and quick. "She's dying," Amy said, after scanning the alien with her medical equipment. "Her life support suit is failing completely." Jake knelt beside the alien woman. Her suit was unlike anything he had ever seen. It seemed to be connected directly to her nervous system. Thin fibers ran from the suit into her skin. It was not just clothing or equipment, it was part of her body. "This is incredible," Pete said, studying the suit with his scanners. "It's biotechnology. The suit doesn't just provide life support. It's integrated with her biology. It helps her body function." "Can we help her?" Amy asked. Jake was already examining the damaged parts of the suit. The technology was completely alien, but the basic principles seemed familiar. Power flowed through circuits. Information moved through data pathways. Life support systems regulated breathing and circulation. The details were different, but the ideas were the same. "I think so," Jake said. "But we'll need to get her back to our shuttle. I need my full kit of tools." Moving the alien woman was difficult. She was heavy and tall. Her suit made her even more awkward to carry. But they managed to get her to the airlock and then into the Endeavor's medical bay. Jake immediately began setting up his equipment. He spread his tools across every available surface. Diagnostic scanners, micro-welders, circuit analyzers, replacement components. Everything he might need to understand and repair alien technology. "Her suit is completely different from our equipment," Jake said as he worked. "But I think I can figure it out. The basic physics have to be the same." Amy monitored the alien woman's vital signs while Jake worked. "She's stable for now, but barely. Her body is shutting down without proper life support." Jake connected his diagnostic equipment to the alien suit. Information flowed across his screens. Most of it made no sense. But slowly patterns began to emerge. Power flows, data streams, control circuits. It was like learning a new language. But Jake was good with languages, especially the language of machines. "The suit uses bio-neural interfaces," Pete observed, watching Jake work. "It reads her thoughts and emotions. That's how she controls it. That explains why it's so complex," Jake muttered, studying circuit diagrams that looked more like nervous system maps than engineering drawings. Hours passed. Jake worked steadily, connecting human diagnostic equipment to alien systems. Slowly, he began to understand how the suit functioned. And slowly, he began to see what was wrong with it. The alien woman's eyes opened occasionally. She never made a sound, but she watched Jake work. Her large, dark eyes held intelligence, and something that might have been hope. Jake smiled at her through his helmet and kept working. He was going to save her, whatever it took. Jake had been working for 12 hours straight. His back ached from bending over the alien woman's suit. His eyes burned from staring at diagnostic screens, but he was making progress. Slowly, piece by piece, he was learning how her life support system worked. The alien woman watched him the entire time. She never spoke. She never made any sound at all. But her large, dark eyes followed every movement of his hands. There was something in her gaze that made Jake work even harder. It was not just hope, it was trust. She trusted him to save her life, even though they had never met before. "Jake, look at this," Amy said. She was monitoring the alien woman's vital signs on her medical equipment. "Her heart rate changes when you work on different parts of her suit." Jake glanced at the medical readings. Amy was right. When he worked on the breathing system, the alien woman's heart beat faster. When he fixed a power connection, it slowed down. She could feel everything he was doing. "It makes sense," Pete said. He was studying the bio-neural connections between the suit and the alien's body. Her nervous system is connected directly to the suit. She can feel its condition like it's part of her own body. Jake looked down at the alien woman. Her eyes met his. For a moment, he felt like she was trying to tell him something. But what? He did not speak her language. She did not speak his. How could they communicate? Then he noticed something strange. The patterns of light on her suit were changing. When he successfully repaired a damaged circuit, waves of golden light flowed across the suit's surface. When a repair failed and he had to try again, the light turned deep purple. She's trying to communicate, Jake realized. The suit shows her emotions through those light patterns. Amy leaned closer to look. You're right. Look at this. She pointed to her medical scanner. Her brain activity spikes whenever the light patterns change. She's controlling them consciously. Jake sat back and thought about this. The alien woman could not speak to them, but she could show them how she felt through her suit's display. It was like a language made of light and color. Jake decided to test his theory. He pointed to a damaged section of her suit and then looked at her questioningly. The light patterns immediately changed to urgent red pulses. Yes, that part was important. It needed to be fixed soon. Jake pointed to another section that looked less damaged. The light patterns turned calm blue. Not urgent, but still needed attention. Incredible, Pete whispered. She's teaching you how to prioritize the repairs. For the next few hours, Jake worked with the alien woman as his guide. She showed him which repairs were most important through her suit's light displays. Red meant urgent. Blue meant important but not critical. Green meant working properly. Purple meant she was in pain. Jake tried to avoid making the lights turn purple. As he worked, Jake began to understand more than just her suit's technology. He began to understand her. She was scared. The purple lights and rapid heart rate told him that. But she was also brave. She stayed calm and helped him even though she was dying. Jake, Amy said quietly. I've been analyzing her blood chemistry. She's not just sick, she's been poisoned. Poisoned? Jake stopped working and looked at Amy. Not exactly poisoned, Pete corrected, studying his own readings. It's more like a technological virus. Something is attacking the bio-neural connections in her suit. The virus is slowly destroying the interface between her body and her life support. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. You mean someone did this to her on purpose? Maybe. Or maybe it's a natural phenomenon. Some kind of space-borne infection that attacks bio-neural technology. Jake looked down at the alien woman. Her light patterns were turning pale, fading. She was getting weaker. Whatever was attacking her suit was winning. How long does she have? Jake asked. Amy checked her readings. At this rate? Maybe 6 hours. Less if the infection spreads faster. 6 hours. Jake had been working for 12 hours and had barely figured out how her suit worked. Now he had to find a way to stop a technological virus in 6 hours. It seemed impossible. But Jake did not give up. He never gave up. That was not who he was. He looked into the alien woman's eyes again. She was still watching him, still trusting him. The light patterns on her suit pulsed weakly, but they were not purple. She was not in pain right now. She was waiting patiently for him to save her. Jake turned back to his equipment with new determination. He connected more diagnostic tools to her suit. He ran deeper scans of the bio-neural pathways. He analyzed the infection's patterns. Slowly, a picture began to form. The technological virus was clever. It disguised itself as normal data flowing through the suit's systems, but it was actually rewriting the bio-neural interfaces, corrupting the connections between the suit and the alien woman's body. I think I understand what's happening, Jake said. The virus is like a computer program that changes other programs. It's rewriting her suit's software. Can you stop it? Amy asked. Maybe. Human technology works differently than hers. Our neural interfaces are simpler, less integrated. Maybe I can build barriers using human components. Jake began pulling parts from his emergency repair kit. Neural interface chips designed for human use, circuit boards that could translate between different system types, isolation filters that could block malicious data. The alien woman watched him work. Her suit's light patterns showed curiosity, as Jake connected human technology to her alien systems. It should not work. The technologies were completely different, but Jake was good at making incompatible things work together. "This is impossible," Pete muttered, watching Jake connect human and alien circuits. "The interface protocols are completely different." "Impossible is just another word for difficult," Jake replied, not looking up from his work. He worked faster. Now. The alien woman's vital signs were getting weaker. Her suit's light patterns were growing dimmer. Time was running out, but Jake had an idea. A crazy idea that just might work. Jake's crazy idea was simple in theory, but incredibly difficult in practice. He would create a hybrid system. Human neural interface technology would act as a firewall, protecting the alien woman's bio-neural pathways from the virus. The human components could not be infected because they were fundamentally different from her technology. "You want to what?" Amy asked when Jake explained his plan. "Connect human neural mesh directly to her nervous system," Jake replied. "Our technology is immune to the virus because it works on different principles. I can use human components to isolate the infected sections while I repair them." Pete shook his head. The biological incompatibility alone could kill her. Human neural interfaces were never designed to work with alien biology. "Maybe," Jake said, "but she's going to die anyway if I don't try something. Look at her readings." Amy checked her medical scanner. The alien woman's vital signs were dropping steadily. Her suit's light patterns were barely visible now, just faint pulses of dim color. "How long?" Jake asked. 2 hours, maybe less." Jake looked down at the alien woman. Her eyes were still open, still watching him. But they looked tired now. She was fighting to stay conscious, fighting to help him save her life. "I'm going to try," Jake decided. He began preparing the hybrid interface. Human neural mesh was designed to be compatible with human brain tissue, but it was also designed to be adaptable. Emergency medical situations sometimes required quick connections to damaged nervous systems. The mesh could adjust its patterns to match different neural types. The question was whether it could adjust enough to work with completely alien biology. Jake worked carefully, preparing the interface connections. He had to be precise. One mistake could cause massive neural damage. The alien woman would die instantly. "Her brain activity is changing," Amy reported. "She knows what you're trying to do." Jake looked at the alien woman's face. Her eyes were focused on his work. The light patterns on her suit were pulsing in a new rhythm. Not red for urgent or blue for important, something different. Something that looked almost like encouragement. "She's telling you to continue," Pete realized. "She wants you to try the procedure." Jake nodded to the alien woman. Then he began making the connections. The first neural link was the hardest. Jake had to connect human interface mesh directly to one of the alien woman's bio-neural pathways. He used the finest tools he had, working at the microscopic level. One wrong move would sever the pathway permanently. The connection clicked into place. Jake held his breath, waiting to see what would happen. The alien woman's eyes went wide. Her back arched slightly. For a moment, Jake was terrified that he had hurt her. But then her suit's light patterns exploded into brilliant gold and silver spirals. "Her vital signs are stabilizing," Amy said, amazement in her voice. "It's working." Jake felt a wave of relief, but he was far from finished. He had to create dozens more connections, building a complete firewall system around the infected areas of her bio-neural network. As Jake worked, something unexpected happened. Each time he connected a human interface to an alien pathway, he felt a brief moment of something. It was like touching someone's thoughts, not reading their mind, but feeling their emotions for just an instant. The alien woman was experiencing the same thing. Jake could see it in her eyes. She was feeling his determination, his refusal to give up, his absolute commitment to saving her life. "The neural bridge is creating a temporary empathic link," Pete observed, watching his scanners. "You're sharing emotional states." Jake had been working for 18 hours straight. His hands were shaking from exhaustion, but every time he felt ready to quit, He felt something from the alien woman. Strength, encouragement, gratitude. She was giving him the will to continue. And with each connection he made, Jake felt something else from her. The crushing weight of responsibility she carried. She was not just fighting for her own life, she was fighting for something much bigger. "Pete," Jake said as he worked, "can you access more data from her ship's computer? I need to know what's really going on here." Pete worked at his translation equipment for several minutes. Slowly, alien text began appearing on his screen, followed by rough translations. "My God," Pete whispered. "What is it?" Amy asked. "She's not the only one. This virus, this technological infection, it's spreading through her entire species. Her people are dying. Their bioneural technology is being corrupted on a massive scale." Jake stopped working and looked at Pete. "How many?" "According to this data, millions, maybe billions. Their entire civilization depends on bioneural interfaces. Without them, they can't operate their technology. They can't even survive in their own environment." Jake felt sick. The alien woman was not just one person in trouble. She was a representative of an entire dying species. The weight of that knowledge almost overwhelmed him. But then he felt something through the neural link. The alien woman was looking at him with those large, dark eyes. And she was not asking him to save her entire species. She was just asking him to save her. One person, at a time. That was how you solved impossible problems. One step at a time. Jake returned to his work with renewed focus. He connected more human interfaces to alien pathways. He built firewalls around infected areas. He created backup systems for critical functions. And slowly, miraculously, it worked. The virus could not attack the human neural interfaces because they were completely different technology. The human components acted like immune cells, protecting the alien systems from further infection. And Jake was able to repair the damaged pathways one by one, working behind the protection of his hybrid firewall. After 24 hours of continuous work, Jake made the final connection. The hybrid system was complete, human and alien technology working together in perfect harmony. The alien woman's suit blazed with light. Golden spirals flowed across its surface like liquid starlight. Her vital signs showed perfect stability. The virus was contained, isolated, and slowly being eliminated by the hybrid immune system Jake had created. Jake sat back, exhausted beyond measure. His hands were cramped from holding fine tools for so long. His eyes could barely focus. But he had done it. He had saved her. The alien woman sat up slowly. She looked at Jake for a long moment. Then she did something that surprised everyone. She reached out and touched his hand. The contact sent a shock through both of them. The neural interfaces Jake had installed created a brief but intense connection. For just a moment, Jake felt everything. She felt the overwhelming relief of being alive, the gratitude beyond words for what he had done, and something else. Hope. Because Jake's solution could save more than just her. It could save her entire species. As the connection faded, Jake saw something that would stay with him for the rest of his life. A single tear rolled down the alien woman's face. It was the first emotion she had shown outwardly since they found her. The tear fell and landed on Jake's hand. The tear that fell on Jake's hand felt warm, even through his gloves. It was such a simple thing, but it meant everything. The alien woman was alive. She was going to survive. And more importantly, her people might survive too. Jake looked into her large, dark eyes. They were no longer filled with the desperate fear he had seen before. Now they held something beautiful and powerful. Hope. The alien woman sat up fully. Her movements were smooth and graceful now that her suit was working properly. The light patterns flowing across its surface were unlike anything Jake had seen before. They moved in complex spirals of silver and gold, pulsing with what could only be joy. "Can she speak?" Amy asked, checking her medical readings. The alien woman turned toward Amy's voice. She tilted her head slightly, listening. Then she spoke for the first time since they had found her. Yes, she said. Her voice was musical like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. I can speak. I have been learning your language from your ship's computer systems. Jake felt amazement wash over him. Not only was she alive, but she could communicate with them. Everything was going to be different now. What is your name? Pete asked gently. The alien woman considered this question. My name translates poorly to your language. You may call me Luna, as your healer suggested. It is close enough to my real name. Amy smiled. I'm Amy Rodriguez. I'm a doctor. This is Pete Harrison. He studies different forms of life. And this is Jake Morrison. He's the engineer who saved your life. Luna turned to look at Jake. Jake Morrison, she repeated carefully. You gave me more than life. You gave my people a future. Jake felt uncomfortable with the praise. I just did my job. Fixed what was broken. No, Luna said firmly. You did something much more important than that. You solved a problem that my people could not solve. You found a way to protect our bioneural systems from the infection. She gestured to her suit, where human and alien technology now work together seamlessly. This hybrid system you created, it can be adapted for my entire species. The human neural interfaces can serve as a permanent cure for the plague that is killing us. Pete leaned forward, excited. A cure? How many of your people are affected? Luna's light patterns dimmed slightly. All of us. The infection began 6 months ago in your time measurement. It spreads through our bioneural networks like a disease. We estimate that 70% of our population will be dead within 1 year if we cannot stop it. Jake felt the weight of that number. Billions of lives hanging in the balance. How did it start? We do not know, Luna admitted. The infection appeared suddenly in our most advanced bioneural facilities. It spreads whenever our systems connect to each other. We have been forced to isolate ourselves to slow its progress. That's why you were alone, Amy realized. You couldn't risk contact with other ships from your species. Luna nodded. I was sent to find help. My ship's systems were specially modified to contain the infection, but even those modifications failed eventually. If you had not found me, she did not need to finish that sentence. They all knew what would have happened. Can you contact your people? Sam asked from the pilot's seat. Let them know you're safe? Luna's light patterns flickered with uncertainty. Direct contact is dangerous. The infection could spread through communication networks, but there are ways to send coded messages, simple signals that cannot carry the virus. Do it, Captain Ward's voice came through the radio from New Horizon Station. Let your people know that help is coming. Luna moved to the Endeavor's communication console. Her movements were still careful but much stronger than before. The hybrid life support system was working perfectly. She began transmitting a complex signal. To human ears, it sounded like music, complicated harmonies that rose and fell in intricate patterns. But Jake could see from Luna's expression that it was much more than music. It was a message of hope. I have told them that I am alive, Luna explained when the transmission ended, and that humans have found a cure for the infection. They will be surprised. Surprised? Pete asked. Luna's light patterns shifted to what Jake was beginning to recognize as amusement. My people have been watching human civilization for many years. You are young compared to us. Your technology is less advanced in most ways. We did not expect that you would be the ones to save us. Jake felt a little offended. Our technology might be simpler, but that doesn't make it useless. No, Luna agreed. Simpler is sometimes better. Your neural interfaces work differently than ours. That difference is what makes them immune to our infection. Sometimes the best solution comes from an unexpected direction. Captain Ward's voice came through the radio again. Luna, would your people be willing to work with us? We can help distribute the cure, but we'll need to understand your technology better. Luna was quiet for a moment, thinking. That would require my people to trust humans completely, to share our most advanced technologies with a species we barely know. It would be difficult for some of them to accept. But you trust us, Amy pointed out. Luna looked at Jake. This human worked for 24 hours without rest to save the life of a complete stranger. He risked his own safety to help someone he had never met before. How could I not trust such people? Jake felt his cheeks get warm. He was not comfortable being called a hero. Any engineer would have done the same thing. Would they? Luna asked. Your Captain Ward sent a rescue mission to investigate an unknown signal from an empty sector. Your pilot flew into danger to help someone he had never seen. Your healer worked to save a life that was completely alien to her. Your scientist shared his knowledge freely to help solve our problem. This is what humans do? Yeah, Jake said simply. This is what humans do. We help. That's who we are. Luna's light patterns blazed bright gold. Then my people will learn to trust humans, because you have shown us something we had forgotten in our advanced civilization. What's that? Pete asked. That sometimes the most important technology is not in our machines. It is in our hearts. The willingness to help others, even when it is difficult, even when it is dangerous, even when those others are completely different from us. Jake smiled. We're not that different. You needed help, we gave it. That's universal. Luna reached out and touched his hand again. This time the neural connection was gentler, more controlled. Jake felt her gratitude, but also something else. Friendship, respect, and the beginning of something that might grow into a partnership between their species. Your people puzzle mine, Luna said. You are young, sometimes chaotic, often unpredictable. But you possess something rare in the galaxy, the ability to see beyond yourselves, to sacrifice for strangers, to never give up when someone needs help. Captain Ward's voice came through the radio one more time. Prepare for return to New Horizon Station. We have a cure to develop and a civilization to save. As the Endeavor turned toward home, Jake looked out at the stars. They seemed brighter now, less cold and distant. Somewhere out there was an entire species that would live because he had refused to give up. Because he had done what humans do, he had fixed what was broken. He had helped someone who needed it, and in doing so he had proven that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons. It was their unwillingness to walk away when someone needed help. The galaxy suddenly seemed a lot less lonely.